Well, hey everybody. It's the 13th day of March. It's Monday. I'm Jan Erickson, and this is As Above, So Below. Well, I hope you've had a good weekend. And let's go ahead and get started. And my husband's got to go get a CAT scan today. He's got to have his hernia surgery redone. So I have a funny feeling it was not it wasn't unexpected that might happen. So anyway, don't yet have a surgery date. Hopefully it's maybe this week or next week so we can get this over with. But anyway, we're going to start the day with Vunyo. Now, let's see. When did we have Vunyo last week? No, it's been a bit. Oh, on the 13th, well, of last month. So now here on the 13th of this month, we have Vunyo again. Vunyo is the eighth rune of the Elder Futhark. Looks like the letter P. But it's essentially it's a wish rune. Consider the wish rune. It's about harmony and joy and success and fellowship. So we start the day anyway, the reading on a positive note here. Let me get a little closer. Let's take a look at the Geomancy rune. I'll throw down the four elementals, and I think last time I said I'm going to put them in the order of air, fire, water, and earth. It's fire, air, water, and earth. I don't know what happened. Sort of a... Oh, well, we have poor. Wouldn't we have poor? Ooh, did we have that on the 13th too? No, we had Caput Draconis. So anyway, we've got Pur, which is one of the youthful energies of the Geomancy set. You've got Pur and you've got Puella or Poya. Whereas Puella or Poya would be the little girl energy. This is little boy energy. So there's a lack of impulse control. Doesn't want to be controlled. Gets a little aggressive if that happens. Like, no, defiant, no. Kids. But anyway, so the impulse control might be a barrier or something that inhibits fellowship, especially, if you irritate people in the process with it. So you've kind of got those two energies battling today, maybe a bit. But not anything that's real. As far as Pur goes, it's not like it's Rubius, where it's a misuse of force or anything, or trying to manipulate people. It's just basically somebody who is. I need to do the. As soon as I pull the cards, I'm going to do the overall numerology here. I'm trying to find my calculator on the screen. I think there it is. Yep, there we go. But they're aggressive if they try to be controlled with Pur, and there could be conflict oriented, not really wanting to cooperate, as little boys might do. So maybe a little defiance there. But when you're trying to have peace and fellowship and harmony and happiness, and boy, I'm not able to shuffle today for some reason. I have no idea why. That's just enough of that. Let's cut the deck. And take 3 cards. Well, we have 2 from the court. We have a knight and a queen, and we have the hermit from the major arcana. Now, we had the Knight of Wands on Thursday, where he was really standing up for others and I guess encouraging that in the reading for... It was more of I think I interpreted most of this to be more of a societal thing versus an individual thing on Thursday. We'll see if this does the same thing. I kind of doubt it, but just looking at things. But you're looking, let's just do the numerology very quickly. The court doesn't ever have a number associated to any of those cards. But you're looking at 8 with Vunyo again, and you're looking at 9 with the Hermit. So you're looking at 17. 7 and 1 is 8. So we have 8 is about inner strength and external strength and leadership. It's about material recognition and approval. So with the Knight of Wands here and the Queen of Pentacles and the Hermit, you've got 2 cards here that are just overall that are reflective with the Hermit and the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen's a very reflective card. She sits on her throne in the garden, and she's just very quiet and reflective and kind and loving and generous, and trustworthy. She's kind of the Earth Mother type. And I think in terms of a reading, especially with the Hermit, the Hermit again is the ninth card of the major arcana. You're looking at retreat and surrender and letting the light of spirit here. You can see the Merkaba inside the lantern there. Light his world, light his perceptions, light his awareness, and getting above it all to be able to see the overall picture. If we're going to connect it to Thursday's reading, which is more societal than individual, it may be that this is the individual side of that, where we have to take a look at what's going on, and how are we able here with this reading to not only try to figure out what's going on overall and how it impacts us in our life, how it affects our solitude, our generosity, our generosity of spirit. How does it affect our domestic life, and how we interact with others, with vunyo in our lives, with love and fellowship and joy, and wishing for that and hoping for that. But we've kind of got to get past the wishing stage now, especially with the attack on the people that is happening in the country. And so it affects each one of us individually in some way, even if not completely directly. There's going to be aspects of everyone's life that are going to be compromised by all of this that's going on. And understanding that it was never about right versus left, that it was always about the people versus the criminal element in the billionaire class that wants to control the world, and always has. There's always been, the puppeteers behind their puppets. That's always been a feeling of people that, yeah, okay, they're in charge, but are they really, And you look at what they do, and it's you really begin to understand, especially now, that there are forces at work that are so demonic that they seek to control at the expense of people's lives. My husband showed me a thing this morning, that in one particular area, a hospital or clinic or whatever, that maybe it's at a big veterans facility or something. They want the therapist to come back to work, but they're putting them in cubicles that are open. And that's a HIPAA violation, to have to talk to your client in a therapy session where everybody else can hear. You see, it's that kind of stuff. They demean people with what they're doing. And so, whereas Thursdays was about standing up for that, and we had the Seven of Pentacles, we were taking stock of everything. Today with the Queen of Pentacles, you got to reflect on all of it. And with the Hermit, you've got to get ever higher. You've got to withdraw and find your silent counsel within from spirit to try to understand the bigger perspective here. There's a sense of endings and completion with the Nine, but there's also the idea of spirituality and also generosity that it shares with the Queen. But here, you're looking at caution, you're looking at wisdom and acting with wisdom and higher awareness, to be, instead of being purely ego reactive to everything that's going on, as difficult as some of the stuff that's coming out, that we're finding out about what's really going on now in the government. It's and the silence of Congress, and the inability of one side to stop any of it, really, other than to maybe put some roadblocks in the way. And then what will you've got the court that is finding against the administration. So you've got things in place, and telling them, pay your bills. You can't not pay this billions of dollars you owe. And they gave him a deadline. I don't know if it happened. I assume it did, but I don't know. And now they're trying to backtrack on everything. The tariffs, one day they're there, the next day they're not. Supposedly they're there today. I don't know. So it's that kind of thing to keep everybody off balance and make sure that you don't know what's really going on. It's like all this chaos and distraction while they're stealing you blind behind the scenes. And I suppose if you could bring it down to one thing, that's likely what's happening here. But again, with the Hermit, you're looking at today, if the goal is fellowship and joy and controlling the impulse to react with poor here, So you've got Vunyo and Pur. If that's the main goal of today's reading, then you have to allow higher awareness to guide that for you, and not allow ego to get you so riled up that you can't think clearly, and that you can't really see what's going on. You get focused on one thing that you're upset about, and you forget to pay attention to everything else. And the hermit is suggesting a lot of caution there, and to make sure that you're really paying attention to the entirety of it and thinking critically, which some people don't know how to do. They listen to what somebody they believe in says, and that's gospel. Well, no, because there's an agenda at work. We have to be aware of it. We have to understand what's happening here, and once we, take the energy of both the Hermit and the Queen of Pentacles and find our way, through higher awareness as to to our understanding of what's actually happening, then that can guide us toward some kind of action. Again, with the Knight of Wands, and you've got somebody, the knights are always on a quest. This guy, being that it's wands, he's in the Holy Land, because you can see the 3 pyramids there. He's on a spiritual quest, if you will, in some ways, but he's also pointed toward the past. It's like she's looking toward the past, whereas and if it were the suit of the court cards in the suit of swords, which is the air element, also looking toward righting the wrongs of the past, whereas you look at the other way, you're looking at a new path, or you're looking at the future, and you're dealing with all of that. But here with the Queen of Pentacles, she's just sitting there, just looking at and reflecting on what she has and what her abundance is, and how threatened it is, right? And here you have the Knight of Wands, who again is trying to right the wrongs of what's happening and what's been happening. And again, he's protective, he's action-oriented, he's progress-oriented, he's risk-oriented. He's willing to take that risk, to stand up. I said on Thursday that this guy stands up every single time. And with the court cards, we can either embody the individual on the card, or the qualities therein. And again, with the Queen of Pentacles, if you're going to embody her qualities, you're going to be quiet and reflective, and you're going to pay attention. You're going to be watching. You may look passive because maybe you're not reacting, but you're reacting inside. You're gathering all the facts, all the information about what you need to do to protect yourself. If they demolish Social Security, a whole lot of us will have nothing. Not everybody has a 401k. A lot of people don't. And especially if my age or older, those things didn't exist back in the day when you first started working in the work world. That didn't happen. You could have savings accounts, you could have stock market accounts, but the idea of a 401k, that came a little bit later. Or an IRA came a little bit later. Started around that time, but really got into the full force later, right? And so maybe you didn't have the kind of job where you could do that. So you're really reliant on that, on Social Security, to be able to get through. And it's minimal money, that and Medicare and what they want to do to that. Minimal money if you also have to rely on Medicaid if you're in a nursing home. They're going to demolish that. Where are you going to go? When you get kicked to the curb, where are you going to go? Especially if you need nursing care, see? So lots of things to observe and pay attention to, as to how they apply to your personal life and your ability to express joy and fellowship and love and happiness with people around you, because some of the people around you voted for this. And how do you come together? Well, ultimately, you're going to have to. You're just going to have to. And you might do it in a quiet, reflective way, but, at the end of the day, we all have to band together and realize who the real bully is in the room. It's not you versus me, it's them versus all of us, right? And we have to stand up for what's right. We have to stand up for what the law is, because they want to circumvent the law. They want to ignore what the laws are that Congress has established. And they want to do what they want to do. Cause chaos while they dismantle everything and affect everybody's lives in some way, some more than others. So this is a time, and I don't know, it seems to me that the interesting thing about divination tools like tarot and runes is that they can keep you centered into what you need to be thinking about and focusing on so that you can protect yourself while seeing the bigger picture of what's going on. Understanding, with the critical thinking skills that you need to learn right now. If you don't have them, you need to get them right now, right? And it just seems to me that the readings reflect what's going on in our lives. And right now, what's going on in our lives are planes are crashing. And the economy's going to crash. And everything's going to happen that they're going to, it's going to be difficult for a while. Well, who decided that? Certainly not any of us. We didn't vote for that. Even the people who voted for this guy didn't vote for that. The veterans who voted for him, they didn't vote. They didn't vote to have everything taken from them. What are people to do? You see? So it's all the things they want to do, they're failing miserably at it. They're having to flip-flop, and oh my God, remember in years past, the flip-floppers, the Democrats were flip-floppers and but the Republicans were, well, yeah, they were. Why? Because they say they're not. Just look at what they do. Pay attention to what they do, not what they say, although sometimes they're revealing, like, oh yeah, they rigged the election and I won. Well, yeah, we know. And he admits it in the Oval Office, no less, right? So I think that, we're going to probably have a lot of, if I can do these readings in kind of a split way where this is individual, and collective, I'm going to do it. But right now, I think we had probably more of a collective one on Thursday. And this is the time now to pay attention individually to what's going on in your life and to make plans if you can. Not everybody's going to be able to do that. They're not going to have the money to do that. But make plans as you can and understand the bigger picture and to try to stay out of that ego reaction because you get caught up there and you can't see the forest for the trees, right? You don't see the thief in the background doing things that they can't do legally. They can't do what they're doing. And yet, here we are. It's like I say to my husband, yeah, but who's going to stop them? Who will stop them if not us? If not the people, right? So this is in whatever form, right? So again, I just think that this is a time here today, and for the next few days, we'll see what we get on Thursday. But we need to be paying attention. We need to get up away from everything. We need to get higher in our vision and see what's really happening and understand it. And don't be caught off guard anymore by it. Anticipate it. Expect it. You're going to be in a better place emotionally if you do. It's still going to make you freak out, depending on what it is. Everyone's going to do that, but you got to get back into your center again and understand what's really at stake here and understand what you can do to try to shore up things at home so that your family's protected, so you're protected. And have some difficult conversations if you're my age or older, if you're in an assisted living facility or a nursing home or whatever, you got to have some hard conversations with your family because they may need to take you home and do things that they really aren't qualified to do as far as taking care of you, depending on what that is. So we're all in this place of scrambling now to try to figure out and anticipate so that we're not at the moment of and now suddenly having to do that, right? So have those conversations with your family. Hopefully you're not estranged from your family, but have them if you can, and make a plan for what you're going to do to come together collectively and survive all of this. And employ the active principle behind the Knight of Wands to stand up for yourself. If it means going out into the streets with others and peacefully protesting what's going on, that's another thing. Going to town halls and talking to your members of Congress, if you happen to have one that will listen to you and not sit there and insult you every time, when you're bringing up, hey, well, this is happening, and then they want to be nasty about it and blame you and everything else. Some of the stuff I've been reading about that has just been it's expected, but yet it's still appalling, isn't it? I mean, they're capable of this, but yet then they do it, and it's like, oh boy. And then you got Bernie Sanders going all over the country, and Elizabeth Warren going all over the country, and attracting all these thousands and thousands of people that are really, really angry, and rightfully so. So make your voice heard in any way that you can, writing your Congress, members of Congress, calling them on the phone. That's taking a Knight of Wands approach. Whatever you can do to raise your voice. Whether it's on social media or on TikTok, make a TikTok video if you're on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but yeah. Well, I think I finally got an account, but then I think I did away with it. But I've never put anything on there. I've just looked at something one time and posted it, but I had to actually be on TikTok to do that. So I don't know. But then when they took TikTok away for a few days, I just deleted it. So, I don't know. But that's a way of expressing yourself. Or on YouTube, express yourself, and let them all know that you don't want what's happening to happen. And who knows, maybe we will, with our collective voices together in Vunyo, will controlling our impulses that Poor might be suggesting we need to do. Maybe we can make a difference. So anyhow, that's it. Thanks for watching. Come back again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself. Be good to one another in Vunyo, and blessed be.